Okay, so we were just talking earlier on today's Big Blend Radio Vacation Station show that we're going to talk about Palm Springs, California. Now, travel writer Linda Kassam, the food, wine, shopping diva, just spent 3 wonderful days there, and in her article that is up on blendradioandtv.com, she talks about Palm Springs being, really it's timeless. It has embraces its tradition and its historic roots, but also keeps the elegance and also is alive with contemporary spirit. So she's going to tell us all about her 3 days. Travel writer Linda Kassam, she wrote an article. You can see it on blendradioandtv.com, but as all her articles, we also feature them in Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. You'll see that coming up in the fall issue. And she's bringing 2 special guests with her. She's got Michael C. Green, chair of the Palm Springs Small Hotel Tourism Business Improvement District and co-owner of the Triangle in Palm Springs. Check it out at triangle-in.com. And we also have Tim Bannister, the co-owner of Celebrity Tours. But she's a diva, so we got to bring her back on here. So, Diva Linda, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much. I'm settling into my summer boat life, and as you know, internet and phone can go in and out. So let's hope this is a good one, and I don't fade in or fade out too much. Unless you're getting.
I know we're both laughing here because we're all in that. It's interesting how it goes. Yep. But so you're back. So are you in Anacortes?
I am. I'm in Anacortes for a very short time, and then off we go to the wilds of Canada somewhere, which I don't know. But
oh, wow.
I'll be there. Yeah, I'll be there. It'll be fun.
Wow.
Cool.
So that's amazing. So you go from the desert to that, and it's interesting because you also live in Arizona too, but Palm Springs, that you seem to have a really, really good time.
So this is really interesting because I was born and raised in Southern California, and Palm Springs was a big part of my teenage and college years. So through those eyes, that's one type of Palm Springs. That's your go get a tan, go get a new boyfriend, see how much you can drink kind of life, and shop a bit and so forth. And then as you age, or as I aged a little bit, then it was time to take my own daughter there. And you see that through a different set of eyes, which is no boys, stay in, you can't. Which, of course, she did. And I don't know, for some reason, we always went on a holiday. And, of course, there were lots of boys and lots of teenagers and so forth. And then the third stage now is seeing Palm Springs as an adult. And it was so wonderful to go back and spend 3 days with the tourism group. And our first day was really interesting and really important because it was a dinner at a local restaurant, and 849, actually, one of the better or best restaurants in town. And I got to sit next to Michael Green, and this guy really, you know how much I'm interested in tourism and how much I love when they do their own improvement districts, and how do you make your town local but exciting and contemporary, yet don't forget its roots, and sort of blend all that together. And this was a trip for me that, the dermatologist has now said to me, stay out of the sun because I'm tired of taking all these sunspots off you. So, so I'm not sitting out by the pool anymore. So I'm looking for other things to do. And so for 3 days, I had a wonderful, wonderful experience. And as I said, I met Michael, and it was what a wonderful, charming night with him, and I think probably 35 of our best friends, and he was explaining all the things that he's doing there and how exciting it is, and just all put it into perspective. And I'll let him tell his story and how he does that, and of his inn, and then how he came to own an inn. And I think everybody at one time or another thinks they're going to be an innkeeper or bed and breakfast person. I gave that up after I had a teenager and said that's enough bed and breakfast for me. So, but the other, but there's others that, that's quite wonderful. And I think then the second thing that really, really, really impressed me, and I would have never done this on my own, but now I'm telling everybody you must do this, is I went on a celebrity bus tour. And I thought, this is going to be kitschy and it's going to be icky and I'm not going to really like this. And I loved it. I loved it because our bus driver and our guide told us all about Palm Springs, and it was house by house by house. And I thought, oh, I know everything about Frank Sinatra, blah, blah, blah. What is he going to say? Everything was new. Everything, all the architecture. Why the architecture? Why the small houses? Why the celebrities? And I'm telling you what, once you do that, once you have Michael whispering in your ear about how Palm Springs is coming to be and why you're going to like it and how he's part of what's making it so great, and then you listen to Tim on this wonderful hour bus tour, and he was so gracious because the the CVB, which would be the Convention Visitors Bureau, had us eat lunch on the bus, and he didn't know it. He was so gracious. The look on his face when all this food started coming on the bus, all these people started bringing out their sodas and their sandwich wrappers. But you know what? He was a trooper. We got through it. I don't think we killed his bus too much, and I didn't see the bill for it anyway. So I think everything was good. But of the things that I did, I loved Michael Green the most, and I loved Tim the most. I mean, it was just wonderful. And then I loved this 849. Oh God, that was good. And then Mr. Lyons Steakhouse. We had a wine pairing, a really special wine pairing. And I find out later from my friends that Mr. Lyons is a local place. Everybody loves it, and you have to go to it. And I'm glad I did. It's it's nice to see these hotels aren't so contemporary that they've lost the flavor of who Palm Springs is and was. And
I think that's important to have that balance. That balance where you can you have to, and so many destinations do that, where it's like we still need to keep our roots and our identity, but we also need to embrace now of what's going on now, and it's a tricky balance. So to be able to achieve that, and I know you're the diva, so and hey everyone, she's also the president of the International Food, Wine, Travel Writers Association. Got to give a shout out for that. So Diva Linda knows. So did you give them a big stamp, the Diva approved stamp?
Everything I'm going to talk about today gets the great big stamp, including nightlife for adults. And you know what? Who knew that there still was tableside service in restaurants? That's Mr. Lyons Steakhouse. And the Purple Room. Now, Michael told me, you got to go to the Purple Room. So we went to the Purple Room. And here is this wonderful Rat Pack era kind of feel, dinner, supper club. When was the last time you went to a supper club? I haven't been to one in a gazillion years, but I would go to this place every day if I could. I mean, it was just what you would expect, and the entertainment was great, the food was great, the price was right. I mean, and it's not right on the strip, but the main strip. It's a little bit off, but it takes a local like Michael to tell you, this is a place you ought to go. So get your butt down there, and I did, and I got to tell you, I loved it. And then afterwards, we went to the Casablanca Lounge on the grounds of the that's of course a wine, Ingleside Inn, and it's called Melvin's and the Casablanca Lounge. And that's another throwback. But this one, they want you to dress up a little bit, when was the last time you got out of your jeans? So this is really nice. How do
you know, Linda?
Yeah.
How do you know what I'm doing? You know what I'm doing right now. Nancy's in her jeans. But we do have our shoes on today.
Oh, yeah. Well,
actually, I'm in a sequin gown.
I couldn't quite get that. What was that?
Nancy, you're still feeding back, just so you know, on sound-wise.
Well.
But this sounds awesome. This sounds awesome, Linda. I want to bring our two guests in here so that they can comment too. Michael Green, again, we were talking about him being co-owner of the Triangle Inn and also being part of this small hotel district, which I find very interesting. Welcome to the show, Michael. How are you?
Thanks. I'm great.
It's good to have you here. So you've been in Palm Springs, you and your husband, Stephen Boyd, is it right, since 2000, January 2000, or is it sooner than that?
Yep. No, we had been visiting Palm Springs since the late 80s, but we bought the inn in January of 2000. We actually started the process in 1999, but the fellows who owned it before us wanted to have a Y2K party, and so we delayed our closing until after the first of the year. But we've been here ever since.
A Y2K party? I remember having those. Remember that year when we all thought it was all good. Yeah, I remember that year.
Yep.
My
Isn't
gosh.
that funny? Yeah.
Wow, I remember that. And I hung out in the desert. We were in Anza Borrego at that point, hanging out and doing
very
a
cool.
yeah. So
Not too far.
since 2000, so this is like you're almost 20 years old now. How does that feel?
Yeah, it's well, it's funny. It has been a while, but it seems like in many ways that it's still new, and I guess that's a sign that I'm enjoying myself. So we have a good time, and we had a great time with Linda's group. We had a ball, and of course she and I just buddied up and had a wonderful time. And so now we've got to figure out how we're going to get to hang out more, because we both are. I'm landlocked and she's boat locked right now. So. But we did. We had a ball. We had a great time.
Oh, that's awesome.
Can you tell us a
Go ahead,
little
Linda.
bit about your? Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you tell us a little bit about your hotel and who your target audience is, and how many rooms there are, and so forth?
Sure. Yeah. The Triangle Inn has actually been the Triangle Inn since 1989, and we do market to gay men, and it is a clothing optional property. There are lots of those in Palm Springs. For those people who love to sun their buns, as it were. And, our inn is a small property. It's 9 rooms. It's a historic property. It was actually built in 1958, and the architect was Hugh Captor, who was one of the last living mid-century modern architects, celebrity architects in Palm Springs. So we were his very first commercial property. And that's been kind of fun. The signature house is actually a giant triangle, and that's how it got the Triangle House name. But it was originally opened as the Impala Lodge, and had some tiki art, but Western-themed tikis. So
Cool.
A lot of fun, but we're thrilled to be there, and we've got a great returning group of guests that stay with us year after year, and it feels like you're having guests and friends over in your backyard every evening.
Oh, that's awesome. That's awesome. I want to bring in our next guest, too, Tim Bannister, the owner of Celebrity Tours. It sounds like you put on quite the tour, Tim. Welcome. How are you?
I'm doing great. How are you?
We're doing good, doing good. Do you want to give everyone your website so they can go look you up?
Sure. It's an easy one. It's called PalmSpringsCelebrityTours.com. PalmSpringsCelebrityTours.com, yes.
And how long have you been in Palm Springs?
Well, I started there in 1999. I was bringing snowbirds out on a bus from Michigan, and I would take them around Southern California. We'd base ourselves in Palm Springs and then drive around to different destinations in Southern California. And we'd be there about a month, and then I would bring them back on the bus. And so that was my first introduction to Palm Springs was then, and I did that up until 2009. And I had met the previous owner of Celebrity Tours in 2006. We had talked about it over the next 3 years, and the opportunity was right in the summer of 2009, and so I purchased it in August of 2009 and been there ever since.
Wow, that is awesome. And having fun, Diva Linda, this was one of your highlights, was going on the. I remember watching you guys on Instagram and Twitter and Facebook, following your adventures, going, that's not fair. You guys are having too much fun without us. But this tour, I love that when you can get the tours where you learn something, about the area.
It really is quite wonderful, and I just would wonder, Tim, where did you get all this? I mean, you know about the celebrities, you know about the town, you know about the locals, and you know about the architecture. And that architecture is not easy. I mean, it's one built this way, one built that way. You seem to know who's owned it from the day it was, created to, some are sort of in need of great repair, and others are just doing fine. How in the world did you get all that information?
Well, the easy answer to that is we have no information at all. We just make it up. But I don't think that would fly over too well over a period of time. People would figure it out.
Yeah.
But a lot of the information that we've amassed. First off, Celebrity Tours is the oldest tour company in Palm Springs by more than 23 years. We've been in business now since 1963. I'm very proud of the history. It was actually started by a lady who lived in Las Palmas, and she took some folks around, which is the primary neighborhood you traveled in to see the Stars homes. But she took folks around, her friends. She took them around in a station wagon on June 22nd, 1963. And then from that, it grew because more people wanted to go on this, little tour in a station wagon. And it kept growing and growing and growing. And I always say I'm the seventh caretaker of the business because it's basically a business of its own, and I just happen to be fortunate to be there. But we've amassed the knowledge over the 56 years that we've been doing the tours. We've collected information from individuals and businesses and the people who did these things, who created these things over the years. And a lot of it has been an oral tradition that we're very proud of. Our tours are not scripted. They are done individually and different each day. And I say that we always hit the same principal stars and the principal homes, but it can change because someone may show up and say, well, do you show so-and-so's house or this house? And they may not be on our staple route, but we'll make a change and start going down and do it. And that's the nice thing about our tour guides is we're able to, because we're not scripted, we're able to make a change and just pick up from there and continue the tour. So each day can be a slight variation from those of the past. But we do find that, repeating these processes anchors them in your mind, and then adding to it through research on the internet, through conversations of folks that come into the office that have been there and lived through it, and they're willing to come in and share, and they're excited about sharing their stories, and we'll add that to the collection. So over the years, that collection has become quite large and quite authoritative, and so it makes it so we can have a good time with it. I always say we're a factually fun tour. We want to remain factual. We want to keep our stories in line, but at the same time, we want to have a great time, which it sounds like, that you did, when you came on the tour, that it was a good time.
It's to me, when you get to go on those kind of tours and they're not scripted, I really appreciate that, because then you're connecting with those that are with you so that you can actually answer questions, and it becomes an experience. When you get on those buses and they just keep reading it, I check out, man. I'm like, where's the wine bar?
Well, most people will check out from a tour like that. And we've kept the bus. We have two buses. They're 39 passenger buses. The back row is a row that we don't sell, generally speaking, because the three seats in the back row, I always tell people, the house on your right always looks the same. Looks like the bathroom. So we don't sell the back row of the bus because to the right is the bathroom. So we do sell 36 seats, but we feel like the bus is large enough to accommodate the crowds that we get, because we fill this bus up almost every single time we run it. And so we have to have something big enough to handle the demand, but we want it small enough that the folks at the rear don't feel like they're in another time zone or another area code. We want them to feel as if they're as close as the people in the front. So we have limited the size of the bus, and we feel very comfortable. And I'm sure, that Nancy felt comfortable on the tour. Not Nancy, but Linda did on the tour in the size of the bus. She would be able to speak better to that.
Oh, what I thought was wonderful.
Yeah, tell us about that.
That I have a set of rules for our writers that are 7 pages long about what you can and can't do. And one of the things you can't do is be check out on the tour, like you're saying. And I always thought, oh, God, they're going to start talking. They're going to do this. They're going to do that. And not at all. Every single one of our writers was engaged, taking pictures, talking about appropriate things, not things like they were going to do the next night or something. So, I mean, that speaks to what a great tour this actually is. And it just gives you such a better understanding of, why the Triangle Inn is called the Triangle Inn, and it wasn't just built to be cheeky. It was built to be, it was a style then. It was something that was great, and it's still great, and it. I don't know, and in the Sinatra House you can rent, but not everybody's going to rent it because of the price and so forth. I don't know. I just thought it was, and the architecture part I think is just really, really fascinating. So anyway, great job, Tim. I really enjoyed myself.
Thank you.
I wanted to also go back to Michael. When you look at Palm Springs over the years, and this change that Linda was talking about, where there's this balance between the past and the present and being contemporary and in paying homage, is that part of what you look at also to your role as chair of the Palm Springs Small Hotel Tourism Business Improvement District? Wow, that's, I'm drinking wine here. That's hard to say.
Oh, it's a long name, isn't it? I know. It's one of those official names that you don't ever want to have to say more than a couple of times.
You get the stamp for it.
Exactly. Palm Springs has always had a number of really unique small hotels. It's part of the lay of the land and the history of Palm Springs. Right now we have actually 77 hotels that are 49 rooms and under. And so a few years back, several of us who are kind of involved with the small hotel community came up with the idea of levying a tax on ourselves so that we could create a business improvement district, because most all of our hotels are small owner-operated properties. And needless to say, we cannot compete with the large, branded hotels that have, international 800 reservation services and, huge marketing dollars. But we wanted to see if we could kind of take control of our own destiny. And so we worked with the city to establish the Business Improvement District, and it is a specific tourism business improvement district. California has two different kinds of, I won't bore you with it, but anyway, it means that the money has to be used for marketing the specific group of constituents. And so all of the dollars that we collect with a 1% sales tax or 1% transient occupancy tax, we use to help market our hotels. And so it's been, it's funny because I have to go to council tonight, and we'll be renewing our T-bid with the city council tonight. So cross your fingers for me. We think we're going to renew just fine, but the public hearing is tonight. So I'll be off of that in a couple of hours. But
well, we'll be toasting to you.
We've been able to. Yes, please. And I'll be toasting after. But we've been thrilled. No, it's not. It's a challenge, and we're thrilled though that in this past year we've been able to show an increase in occupancy for our hotel group, even at times when other hotel segments in the city have not been able to show an increase. So obviously what we're doing is working, and we're thrilled to have this opportunity. And to be able to do things like invite Linda and her group. We had so much fun with them. I mean, I just have to say our hoteliers joined in with all of the events with the riders. And they're still talking about how much fun we had.
Oh,
it's just been
wonderful
amazing.
to hear. So for those of you that don't know, there was about close to 30 riders from the Southern California, Arizona, and I think we had a Nevada person or two. And now I want you to think about that. You can't just put all those people in one hotel. That just doesn't work. So it doesn't work at all. So I don't know how many. Do you remember how many hotels said yes to this? There were quite a few.
I would say we had at least 15 different host hotels. That actually hosted the riders.
Now think about the organization that took. Think about everything that needed to be done, and I've been doing tourism for many years before I ever became a travel writer. And you organize these things, and then your media people show up, your press people show up, and you talk about praying or toasting. You're really hoping that the owners remembered that these guests are showing up on that day, and then also on the other end, you're hoping that your press people remember what day they're supposed to show up. So, it's a two-sided thing.
Like during radio shows.
Yes, exactly. It is exactly like that.
But it all works out.
But it all works out. So, I don't know, Michael, what do you see in the future for Palm Springs? I know the casino.
Sure. Yeah, the casino is always busy. Well, the great thing right now is Palm Springs has really been trending up in terms of popularity. We've got a brand new downtown that's in the process of being built. So it's, those of us who have been here for a while are really excited because for so long there was Palm Canyon Drive, and that's all there was. Mm-hmm. And so now the downtown is being set up into more of a grid system. We'll still have Palm Canyon Drive, and it's world famous, and we're thrilled to have it. But now there are going to be additional streets between Palm Canyon and the museum at the base of the mountain. So we've got new restaurants, new retailers. We've got a couple of new hotels. We've got a brand new city park, art installations. I mean, it's just amazing what's happening downtown. And
I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what I think is really quite wonderful is that the Indian tribe there is really beginning to take a nurturing role and really starting to do improvements with their properties, with their heritage, and all sorts of things. And I think it's just going to be one more jewel in the crown of what Palm Springs can offer. Really excited to see how they're going to make the casino bigger, but also the cultural aspects of what they have to offer.
Right. In 2020, the tribe is scheduled to open the Agua Caliente Cultural Center, which will be a reopening of the spa, which we'll all be thrilled to see the spa open back up. And this is water that hasn't seen the surface since the last ice age. So they're going to have the Taking of the Waters, which is the mineral spa, opened back up. But they're also going to have a cultural heritage museum, which is going to detail the 5,000-year history of the Agua Caliente tribe of Cahuilla Indians here in Palm Springs. So we are very excited to have that open next year.
Isn't that
oh, wow, this
is
cool. Tim, go ahead. I wanted to ask Tim, on your tours, when you do your tours, do you ever take people to the Naked Bridge? I have to bring up the Naked Bridge.
I don't know about that.
Yeah, the Naked Bridge. Yeah, we show that on our tour. The story behind the Naked Bridge was the purpose for it was to get clothing optional folks from one side of the road to the other. And when we did that, we had to build a covered bridge over Indian Canyon Drive. And it was officially called the Naked Bridge on the Jay Leno show. In one of his monologues, he talked about Palm Springs. And he made reference to that bridge as the Naked Bridge. Now, when we go on it, we always call it the Bridge of Thighs, because a lot of times when you're driving and you look up, you see people's thighs walking across the road. So I always say somebody who knows Palm Springs knows the Naked Bridge. That's one of the things okay, that person's definitely been to Palm Springs or read about it.
Well, Nancy, this is something you always ask about Palm Springs, right, Nancy? You want to do the Naked Bridge.
I want to run across and take a camera.
That's so. I love that. It's on Atlas Obscura and all kinds of websites now, and I just think that's something that people have to check out. I do want to touch on Diva Linda that you went to an amazing botanical garden, and I actually, Nancy and I lived up in 29 Palms for a few years and hung out a little bit in Palm Springs, Palm Desert, and I think that's it. I actually really think it's important about what is going on with Palm Springs, because as a visitor, sometimes you just, like Rancho Mirage and Palm Springs, Palm Desert, and Indio, sometimes you don't know where that line is at if people don't, if or a town doesn't have that distinction of who they are. And so it's really cool what's going on with Palm Springs. But I missed, Nancy and I both missed the botanical garden that you went to, Linda. And that's something we definitely, the Morton Botanical Gardens, we never went there. And I'm like, well, what was wrong with us? Like, duh.
Oh, well, you'll have a really special appreciation for it because you've lived in the desert, quite a few years and off and on for, and it was one of the options that was laid out to us, and I chose to go to that instead of, I sent my husband to the Air Museum, and I went to the Botanical Gardens. And, I like anything that has the word garden. And it's a really lovely, it's small, but it's lovely. It's a $5 charge, and God love them. They're using it to keep that place nice and clean and beautiful. And I had no idea until I moved to Arizona this year that cactus and so forth are actually quite lovely little plants, and they have their own little flowering system, and they have their own colors, and we came at a time when they were flowering here and so forth, and I think everybody should go and see it. It's a 1 hour tour at the most, and you can see all the cacti blooming, and you can just walk easy walk. Okay, so everybody can do it. I did it with my knee was recovering from a full replacement, and I was able to walk up and down and all around, and really, really nice job, people. It's been there a while, but it's really it has been there for a while, actually. I don't know how many years, but it's not something new, so I'm surprised you guys didn't know about it. But then I didn't know about it either. Remember, you go there at different phases of your life, and in this phase of my life, I like botanical gardens of any kind, so definitely thought with 3,000 examples of desert cacti. Can you imagine that? 3,000.
Wow, that's a lot.
I'm into that. I love that. And I think that's something neat because people come to the desert, and they always think it's going to be the Gumby cactus, the saguaro in the desert. That's the Southwest. We're all one big blanket of Gumbies. We're far more than that in the desert.
Oh, no, beautiful, beautiful.
No Gumby for you.
Different parts of the world, and they're all well laid out, and they took the time to name all of them and give you a little history on some of them. So, and it's open year round, not so much during the hot summer, but still, you can see it any time of the year, and I would highly suggest that that's one more thing to go see that is separate from just lounging in the pool. Not to say lounging in the pool isn't a wonderful thing, because it is, but as I've said, my dermatologist said enough of that. You can go swimming in the desert now at midnight, but that's about it. So this is a great thing to go. Linda
Kazem, Diva Linda, skinny dipping at midnight. Yep. Yep.
Yeah, with cactus.
And I can.
Hey.
I can do that. Well, I guess can I do that over at Michael's property? I don't know if it's maybe it's just men only. I don't. Oh, see. Oh, good. Oh. Okay. So this
and
is
then
really
run
good.
over the bridge.
And then run over the.
There you
go.
And Tim did point it out, and I remember it now as the Bridge of Thighs, not the Naked Bridge. But
well, that's our unofficial name for it. Jay Leno gave it the Naked Bridge name, but Celebrity Tours names it the Bridge of Thighs. So
the Bridge of Thighs. She mentioned summer in the botanical gardens, and having lived in Tucson, our home base is in Yuma. When we come back from our Love Your Parks tour, we do a big road trip, come back, do our work, and go back out and continue working, but travel and drink wine. But the summer thing about the desert, I want to touch on that because look at Las Vegas. Las Vegas is year round, and a lot of desert communities roll up the pavement and say, "That's it, we're hot." And yet, at the same time, from my experiences, and especially staying in hotels and restaurants, yeah, we sleep in the booth. But as we travel, we meet a lot of Europeans and a lot of people that do travel to the deserts in the summer. And I think that is this one thing I would love to see this balance happen in desert communities of the Southwest, to somehow have a balance where some things stay open and there are ways to enjoy the desert in the summer. Michael, do you want to touch on that? I mean, is Palm Springs open for summer visitors? Because my understanding is you can just go out, have early morning hikes, cocktails and starlight time, and skinny dip in the pool. There's shows, there's things to do in the summer, right?
Absolutely. No, it's completely changed. 20 or 30 years ago, a lot of places did close in the summer, but it has completely changed. We have so many more people who live here year-round and so many more visitors who come in the summer. This summer is definitely a value season. You can get great discounts at hotels and in restaurants. Right now we're in the middle of our summer restaurant week. But there are more things going on in the summer, and there are lots of events throughout the summer that never used to happen. I love the summer because it is hot during the day, but at night it's so warm, and the pools are great, and a midnight swim is amazing. And you can have a late dinner on Palm Canyon Drive. We have the weekly Village Fest. We close off the street downtown and have a street fair every Thursday night. We push it back a little later, so from 7 to 10, people can enjoy the street fair on Palm Canyon Drive. It's a lot of fun, and summers have really changed here in the desert. We get lots of folks from the United Kingdom and also a number of people from Germany who come over. We get monsoons, but very little, and it's usually later. It's towards August, towards the end of August. But even our monsoons are not like you would experience in other desert areas. Because our humidity is so low, and we have the mountains that block any kind of storm that's coming from the west. Can't make it over the mountains. That's why we have sunshine all the time.
And
that's a little different. When we were in Joshua Tree area, man, you got some good zaps and big storms, and even in Tucson in that area when we lived there, it was interesting. Yuma, it just flies over. It's like, hi, I'm here for a little bit. Bye. We'll see you later. Tim, with the celebrity tours, you have air conditioning, right? Just so people wonder about this, and do you run in the summer?
Well, we do run in the summer. Yes, the bus is air conditioned. We do move our time back in June, July, and August to 9:30 in the morning. We normally run at 10 o'clock in the morning on some days and at 1:30 in the afternoon on other days. And then in our peak season, which is January, February, March, and early April, we run 2 and 3 tours a day. So in the summer, we cut back not only on our time to 9:30, but we also cut back to 4 days a week. We've looked at the dates that we do the best on, and we've kept, remained open on those dates. We are involved in the Village Fest on Thursday night, which was what Michael was talking about. We've been involved in that for years, and we remain involved and open in that on Thursday nights through the summer. But, and we still do a pretty good business, a lot better than we were even 10 years ago. Michael's right. The increase in the summer, it's changed and it's transforming even as we do this. There's a lot more people that are year-rounders. A year-round person in Palm Springs is a person who's there technically 6 months and 1 day. They're considered a year-round resident. But we have more year-round residents now than we've ever had, and more housing is being built all the time. It's constantly expanding. So, it gives us more opportunity in the summer, and so we have remained open in the summer. Like I said, 4 days a week, and then in September we bump it back up to 5 days a week, and then October we bump it up to 6 days a week. And we are not open on Sundays, never have been since I bought the business, but we're open those 6 days. And we also do private tours, and if we have private tours, we will schedule them on Sundays if a person wants to go for various reasons. But the bus tour runs Monday through Saturday on the Norm.
All right. Well, I have an interesting question for all three of you. So you've got the bus, right? And
yes.
What I want to know from each of you, you're going to have happy hour on the bus, okay? And so, Tim, on this one, it's your day off, but you get to ride in the bus, okay? So if you invite anyone, or you get to have 3 people, each of you. Normally it's not 3, it's 1. But because it's party time, it's Palm Springs, and it's happy hour, and you're on a bus, like, hello. So let's have a party. So you get to bring 3 people, alive or passed on, to spend happy hour with you on the bus. So, who would those three be? What are you drinking? And where do you want to go to on the bus with those three people?
Wow. So you're asking me this
I know,
first.
right?
I'm putting me right on the
Yeah,
spot
why not?
here, huh? Well, let's keep it
Yeah,
with Palm
come on.
Springs. Let's keep it with Palm Springs so I can learn
Absolutely.
of the past. Frank Sinatra, of course. I want to hear the stories, of you guys were talking about the Purple Room. I'd love to hear. I know a couple stories of the Purple Room, but I'd love to hear his versions of those stories. So that would be a fun one to have on the bus. Would be Frank. Another guy that I think would be fun on the bus would be Liberace, just because of his flamboyant personality, the fact that he spent so much time in Palm Springs and he had so many relationships in Palm Springs. It would be a fun guy, to spend time with. And on the female side of the equation, probably I would want to go with Lucy. Lucy, because her and Desi own so many properties in Palm Springs, and again, she had so much history time there. And they would be fun to be on the bus with. For one thing, I'm sure these three can party pretty well. As far as what I would drink personally, I'm sorry, I hope I don't disappoint everybody. I'm not a drinker, but my favorite drink is Diet Dr. Pepper. So as long as you've got a whole bunch of Diet Dr. Pepper, you've got one happy guy.
Right on. Hey, there's Dr. Pepper is cool. Yeah. To me, everybody's happy hour is their own happy hour of what they want. That's the way it rolls. Absolutely.
Yeah.
So, Michael, who are you going on the bus with?
Oh my gosh! See, I was thinking people who are here now. So the first one I was going to pick was Barry Manilow, because Barry is one of our most famous residents nowadays, and he could sing all the way around the bus tour. So I would pick Barry Manilow for sure. And then the other one I thought about, because we were talking about the Bridge of Thighs, was Suzanne Summers, who also has a home here, because she's the thigh master. And I thought that would be entirely appropriate for her to be on the bus. And then the third person I would bring on the bus would be Diva Linda, because we would have a ball. And
awesome.
so she would be my third pick.
Where are you going?
So pick something to drink.
Yeah, Tim's going to the Purple Room. And Tim, did I get that right? You were going to the Purple Room, or was it the stories of the Purple Room? Did I miss your destination?
No, there's a story of the Purple Room and Frank Sinatra that is fascinating, and I would love to hear more of his stories of the Purple Room. We share one of the stories of the Purple Room on the bus. When we do the tour, a lot of times we share what happened at the Purple Room with Frank Sinatra. So yeah, it'd be fun to hear some of his, because that was one of his top hangouts. It was built in 1960. It's one of the earliest properties on Palm Canyon Drive of its type. So he was there early on. Yeah.
Would you go on the bus to the Purple Room to hear the stories with him?
Oh, sure, absolutely.
Okay. That's your destination. I didn't want to leave out your destination, because over here we're not drinking Dr. Pepper. So I got to keep in line here. But okay, so Michael, sorry, what are you drinking and where are you going?
Well, so I think that we're probably drinking wine. We had some great wines when we went to Mr. Lyons, and so I think we'll be enjoying those great wines. And then I think where we're going, I think we're probably going to go downtown to the Art Museum, because the Art Museum is always fun. And I think that would be a lot of fun to go there and see some of the new art that's going on at the Art Museum.
Nice. Sounds good. And Diva Linda, did you get to go to the Art Museum?
I've been to the Art Museum before. I had to make a decision between the Art Museum and the gardens, and you know how much I'm into the gardens. In the last couple of years, I went to the gardens instead. But the Art Museum is fabulous. Maybe next year when I go, I'll go there. Maybe that could be an option.
All right. So now you're getting back on the bus. Who's coming with you? Yes.
All right. I want a famous Scottie breeder. We've just got a new Scottish Terrier.
Nothing.
This Yeah, this one is a real treat. This female is a real treat. We call her Muffin, and she goes to doggy daycare and she goes here, there, and everywhere, but she needs some discipline, so I need to talk to a Scotty breeder. And then sitting next to the Scotty breeder would be Doris Day, because Doris Day loved animals and actually did a lot with them and for them and so forth. And so once I learned all the reasons why my Scotty is not behaving, my Scotty is 8 months old now, maybe Doris Day can pat me on the shoulder and tell me I'm a good person anyway. And then sitting on my other side would be the person who invented and created the Bloody Mary. And yeah, because that's what I would be drinking, and I would want the full boat. I want all that green stuff, the garden in the glass, and the whole 9 yards. I don't know how come more people don't do the garden in the glass, meaning celery sticks and olives and all the green stuff. But anyway,
pickles.
That's what I'd be doing. And pickles, yes. And we would be going to the purple room, because the purple room was so special, and I'm pretty sure that all of us would just love to go there and just listen to Michael Holmes, who was supposed to be a guest, and we just couldn't quite make the connection here. But maybe next time I can bring him on. But and that would be my special day. I think I would have a grand time doing that.
Wow. Sounds good. And it sounds like you enjoyed the Bloody Marys when you were over in Palm Springs, Diva Linda. You mentioned it twice in your article. You got into the Bloody Marys. Every time you come on the show, you and I share the love of salsa and fried pickles, and we're not pregnant, okay?
That's right.
Just going to put that out there. But now, Marys, that's our thing. Nancy and I have learned, as you travel across the country, if you need to take a break, and it's a quick one. Casino parking lots have security. You park near the security booth. Your stuff, everything's in our car. And a Bloody Mary in between, because it's, you're getting some nutrition in there.
That's right.
That's the way to go. Isn't that right, Nancy? The Bloody Mary. That's the way.
Of course.
Always.
Either that or rum and Coke.
Oh, but that's because she's not driving. That's when she gets. That's a whole other show. That's the happy hour show, But listen, all of you, thank you so much for joining us on this show and playing happy hour with us. Even though it's our vacation station travel show, we have to play happy hour. You're in Palm Springs, and that's the first thing I think of is Palm Springs happy hour. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. But everyone, again, I want to let you. Yes. Everyone, if you go to blendradioandtv.com, you'll see Diva Linda, her article on Palm Springs, and a slideshow so you can see all the photos she and Alan, her husband, took while they were there. And you'll also find it in the fall issue of Big Blend Radio and TV magazine. But Tim, give everyone your website again for Celebrity Cruises.
Sure, it's PalmSpringsCelebrityTours.com. Palm Springs
Celebrity Tours. Did I say Celebrity Cruises?
Well,
Celebrity Tours, everyone.
Too,
Okay.
Cruising
it feels like you're cruising when you're on a tour like that.
Yeah,
I like that. Michael, and yours is triangle-in.com, right?
That's right.
Okay, well, listen, good luck tonight, Michael. You go get it. We're going to cheer you on, and you're going to walk out of that meeting, and you're going to go have a really good cocktail or some wine and celebrate.
I will.
So go get it. Go get him. Everybody, you can also keep up with Diva Linda's adventures and go to her website, allingoodtaste.info. And she's all about good taste. She knows it. She's had to teach Priscilla, our pink sock monkey travel mascot, how to be in style. And I've got some interesting photos coming your way, Diva Linda. She's been. If you could only see what she did this afternoon. But anyway, on to the next
That's
thing.
another story.
Thanks. It is. Here it is. We're going to play some music. Diva Linda has her own music. It's called Diva Linda's Bossa Nova, and it's by Misha Shellhaus. He's an amazing guitarist. His latest album out is called Double Take. Keep up with him at mishamusic.com. So here it is. Diva Linda's Bossa Nova. Take care, everyone, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you.